own scream, along with the whisper of a silver tear. 'Tis the time to look inside and gaze, find the wealth of the world within, and bravely you dive into the maze, the abyss no more the point you begin. That's when I felt there will be tumbling, there will be pitfalls, there will be obstacles, there will be the same fighting and screaming and shouting with people around you, with people you love. But you learn that you don't have to keep going rock bottom. Baba has his ways to lift you higher each time, and quicker with recovery each time. And when you learn, and as we are learning, that you need to have him, to remember him, to love him, and have him as your companion, and leave things to him, nothing can be simpler. It's so liberating. So when you do that, you literally can start experiencing being carried. And I got a message from Carl about things that I was a little upset about, and Carl said, leave the pain to Baba and enjoy the rest. I learned to do that, and then as we are learning with the readings, our regular readings, Baba's been saying, leave everything to me. And that is the most liberating thing. When you leave it, he's just there to take care of you. Because if you say, I want this and I must have this, like somebody said, you want a promotion, you want this and you want that, sometimes you realize that that's not what it is. When it comes to you, it's not what was destined to, or it's not really what you wanted. So he knows what he's doing. And I think we just have to be able to leave it to him. And at the end, I just like to close by saying the grace of life. Writing has given me the solace, the salve that brings back the grace, the savior to my sanity, the one I can easily embrace. Music has been raison d'etre, a time to close in on me when all around is turmoil, and through that I still can see. Pain has had a reason to remind that bound as one are we with God and His love for all of mankind. So there's no lines to divide, no ties to bind. We just have to stand here and say, lead lightly on, O Maker of mankind. Jai Baba.
Before we come to our last story, two more people I want to introduce to you. One is Gary. He's come from Mehrabad also. Gary, where are you? Hi. And another one is Roxanne. Roxanne, where are you? Roxanne is the housekeeper there, and they've made their way all the way from Mehrabad to be with us today, so that if ever you want to go there, just go and say hello to them. Okay, now we come to the last part of our story. We call it Changing Masters. There are so many of us who have a guru already. So many have been to Sai Baba, so many have been to other places also. And when you come to Meher Baba, sometimes you feel guilty for having done that. We have Rupam here, who wants to share her story about changing masters. Rupam?
Jai Baba. My story starts about 10 years back, sometime in the year 2000, when I was going through a personal crisis, a work-related crisis, and I felt I needed divine guidance. I was desperate and I needed answers to all my questions. In this quest, I was led to the book Sounds of Silence by Nan Umrigar. The book left me in a daze. I stumbled upon two startling facts in the book. The first was, of course, that the dividing line between the living and the dead is very thin. And the second and the more profound truth was that Meher Baba is the avatar of our age. One would think that having come to this conclusion that I have found God, my journey should have ended with peace and harmony. But it was not so. It was a time for great turmoil and trauma for me. And the reason was simple. We had been devoted to the Shirdi Sai Baba all our life. And Sai Baba was our Guru, he was our God, he was our mentor, he was our guide. And here, the Sounds of Silence was bringing a surprise onto us, saying, Meher Baba is the avatar of the age. How was I to check on this audacious claim of Meher Baba that he was the avatar of our age? And I decided that the best thing to do would be to put this doubt, to put this question to Shirdi Sai Baba. And I asked Baba in all earnestness and asking him for forgiveness if my question reeked of arrogance, to show us the way, to tell us whether there was any truth in this claim. I kept pondering and wondering why Sai Baba had not mentioned the advent of the avatar when it was such an important event in this era. But Sai Baba, of course, in his mercy, provided me not one but many proofs that Meher Baba was one with Krishna. Meher Baba was the avatar. I came to the conclusion that it would be worthwhile to pay a visit to Meherabad. My family and I undertook the journey, and I must tell you that the minute I placed my head on the Samadhi, the kind of peace that I experienced cannot be described in any words. I realized that there was this very powerful force which was drawing us to himself, and he was drawing us to himself with a lot of love. Does it mean that all my doubts and my questions of the duality of God vanished with this experience? I'm afraid my answer is no. Intellectually, one understands there is one God. But emotionally, the questions of duality, of manyness, can continue to nag us. And it continued to nag me in a manner that left me very distressed and uncomfortable. I began to ask questions like, should one forsake the master who has led one to the other, or should one pray to both? Should one ignore the earlier form because the newer one is also responsive? Is it possible to wipe out an old relationship with a new one, or can one be devoted to both interchangeably? If there is always a reason and time when Baba enters